Ramily, Ramily, Ramily. Welcome into Ramsoholic, Season 1, Episode 9. I'm your host, Shay. You can find me on Twitter or X. At Shay tweeted that. You can find the team and all of our other content as well over at Toilets to Titles. On today's episode of Ramsoholic, I'm going to talk about the John Johnson signing, the first unofficial depth chart release, and our preseason game this week versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Cue the intro.
Let's swap a verse, and I can play ball in real life. So when they making fun, it never work. They think they offended me. I'm dodging that energy. I know who my friends are now. You currently dead to me. This shit gon' last a century. And every time they mention me, increase my life expectancy. Maybe this my destiny. Loved and hated, then hated and loved. Never betrayed to be a thug, but know a couple who hold slugs. Ain't fighting Spider-Man, but everything I'm spitting venom. Had to look in the mirror and get my shit together. Cause sometimes you think it's over, but it's only getting better. Yeah, good friends going with the wind like Pac said. Legends never die, so we not dead. I'm a fresh white boy, you can call me a pothead. And can say I ain't got bread.
You can find all of our content, including articles, mock drafts, players' rankings, and episodes at toiletstotitles.com. If you're watching on YouTube, first, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also turn on the post notifications so you don't miss out on our daily content. Also, while you're on YouTube, the CFB Nation YouTube channel is our sister network, and they bring you daily college football content. Show them some love by subscribing and throwing likes. Throw us an Apple Podcasts, iTunes review. And lastly, if you'd like to interact with the team, discuss NFL, fantasy football, betting, college football, or if you'd like to get into our weekly mock drafts, reach out to me or Coach Sheps to get into our Gilded Chat. So big news in Los Angeles this week. I think a lot of the Ramily was very excited to see that John Johnson attended training camp, and then the next day ended up signing. First broken by Jake Ellenbogen on Twitter. Make sure to throw him a follow if you're on Twitter. We get John Johnson back after 2 years with Cleveland, with some mixed results over in Cleveland. I don't worry about what he did in Cleveland because I know what he did in Los Angeles. I know what he brings to this team. He brings us that veteran safety, which we need right now with Jordan Fuller being the lone guy with over 2 years experience in the safety position. It's great, man. John Johnson, probably his biggest moment to the wide range of football fans was his interception in 2018 versus the New Orleans Saints in overtime. And then he hit him with the ride out. Marcus Peters smacks him in the helmet, like, ride out. Awesome moment, man. Like, if you watch that game as a Rams fan, the controversy and then how it ended, it was just amazing. So John Johnson being back, I am super happy. I was not someone that wanted to lose him in the first place. I actually went to the Cleveland draft in 2021 and talked to a lot of Browns fans. Obviously, I had all my Rams gear on. I told them, you guys got a dog. Like, that's a huge signing. At the time, Cleveland was considered a contender. I mean, even right now they are for playoffs. And I was just like, wow, I can't believe we lost John Johnson. Obviously, it ended up working out with Nick Scott being a stud. But Taylor Rapp was just not the answer for us. Good hitter, good dime package, safety you could bring in the box more. But John Johnson's coverage skills are on another level. Compared to a Taylor Rapp, even compared to a Nick Scott, he's a lot better of a coverage guy. Tackling, Nick Scott has that. But overall, the duo of John Johnson III and Jordan Fuller, I would take that every day of the week over Nick Scott and Taylor Rapp. And that's no knock to Nick Scott. I think of all of the safeties, him and John Johnson are neck and neck. But then the gap between Fuller and then Rapp it's there. So super excited with the signing. This keeps us at 10-7 for me. It doesn't really move the needle per se. I think it's just great to have that veteran out there, bring some leadership. He knows our system. He knows the scheme. It's a great time it was a great day for me. I had a good day Monday for sure. Demarcus Robinson, wide receiver. He's been balling. He's been looking really good in camp. His route running looks better than I've seen while he was with Baltimore, Kansas City. I think he really knows this is his last chance to get a multi-year deal, to really prove himself. He's a speed guy, but he really seems like he's worked on his route running. Him and Stetson Bennett have had a great connection all camp. Obviously, he hasn't gotten many reps with Stafford as he has with Bennett, but it's not to say that the guy isn't doing great. He's looking good. Tyler Johnson, you really haven't heard much from him, and it seems like Robinson's really taking the spotlight. When I break down our depth chart, I'll show you guys where Demarcus Robinson's actually listed right now. Remember, it is a unofficial depth chart, so things can change. One thing, I'm always positive about our Rams, but a concern for me is our edge position. Michael Hoyt is got one side locked up. We'll discuss who is listed as the other starter with him shortly. But on my last episode of Ramsoholic, I did discuss this position as something that we should try to go and attack veterans. I named Yannick. He gets signed by the Chicago Bears. I named Justin Houston. I talk about his age, 35, but he's still a veteran that could bring some good reps to this team. He gets signed by the Carolina Panthers. He's going to be a huge help opposite Brian Burns. So that leaves me with Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney in the Rams community has been a name that's been going around for years, many, many years. Even when he left Houston, even in his years in Cleveland, in Seattle, this is a guy that we really wanted. The Rams community understands that when you have Aaron Donald on the D-line, the edge is probably one of the most important positions. 2018, made the Super Bowl. We went out and got Dante Fowler from the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2021, our Super Bowl winning season, we went out and got one of the best edge outside linebackers of all time in Von Miller. It's just when you have Aaron Donald plugging that middle on the outside of the guards, you need that edge because you could really create some mayhem right there. We're super young at this position, and it's a good thing, but the Rams are a playoff team, so if we really want to make that push, we need guys like Byron Young, Daniel Hardy, Nick Hampton. Those guys need to step up. Kier Thomas. It's a bunch of names that most people probably never heard of. So it's something that the Rams, hopefully these young guys could step up, but it's a long season. And it's such a crucial part of this defense led by Raheem Morris that you need your edge, guys. Bringing it. We might have to do some rotations, keep guys fresh, but it's definitely something that we need to do. So let's get into it. The depth chart release, unofficial, came out August 8th, so yesterday. And it's very interesting that this is the first season that our depth chart really has a lot of two guys listed at one position. So let's get right into it. At wide receiver 1, of course, Cooper Kupp. If this was the regular season, Cooper Kupp would be right back at practice. It's not. It's training camp. He's a veteran. He knows the system. We're going to let him rest. Tight end, Tyler Higbee. No shocker there. The shocker is Hunter Long being third. I was really hoping he could have pushed for second, but him being hurt right now does not help that case. Second is Bryson Hopkins. Left tackle. This is how it's written: Joe Noteboom or Alaric Jackson. Now, if you've been watching camp, you see Alaric Jackson's getting more reps than Joe Noteboom. Joe Noteboom's actually been getting reps as well at guard. So I feel Alaric, it will be the guy. But this is going to be a real tight competition. Now, the skill gap between the two guys isn't big. And you throw in Joseph Noteboom's 3-year, $45 million contract. High praise about being the future of left tackle when Andrew Whitworth retired. Larry Jackson definitely has to play above and beyond him, just like being in a UFC title fight. If you're the champion and your opponent is keeping it close in those championship rounds, the champion's going to get it, right? That's where Joe Noteboom has the advantage right now. He has that contract. McVay and company need to show that he is worth that contract, or it kind of looks bad on you, right? You pay a guy that much money, and then Alaric Jackson just comes in and starts over him. I believe Alaric Jackson is the better of the two right now. Maybe I'll be wrong, but it's definitely a competition, and seeing it's interesting. Left guard, Steve Avella. Yesterday, him and Aaron Donald had some one-on-one reps, and the kid looks amazing, man. Steve Avella, I feel, is going to be our next great guard. Could go down as one of our best guards ever. This kid is a monster. And if you're keeping up with Aaron Donald on one-on-one drills, that says a lot. I think he has left guard locked up by a wide margin. He's very versatile as well. Can play left or right guard. Could throw him at the tackle positions as well as center. So we got a great one there in the second round, and I'm happy about it. Center, Brian Allen or Coleman Shelton. Now this is another one. All of us in the Rams community, we knew that this would be a battle between the two. Brian Allen is the veteran. Coleman Shelton is the newer kid on the block that just signed a contract this offseason to come back to LA. I'm leaning towards Coleman Shelton. You guys know that every episode that I discussed camp battles, position battles, I've been on Coleman Shelton. I think he brings a lot more versatility to the center role because he's also very good at run blocking. Cam Akers had 300-yard games to end the season. Coleman Shelton was the center, so the guy's just great at center. Brian Allen, undersized, definitely a good veteran. Can really help Stafford read a defense better. He brings that aspect. Injury prone, big part of his portfolio thus far. I feel Coleman Shelton will win the job, but I don't feel super confident about it. I know Sean McVay loves Brian Allen, so may the best man win. At right guard, I will be honest, I missed out on this. I was really pushing for Logan Bruss to really get this position, or scenario where Joe Noteboom gets a guard position, but Tremaine Akram, he's got it right now, and I think he will end up being it once the official depth chart is released prior to week 1. So I'm happy about it. He's another guy that we have on the line that earned it. And for him to have no one listed as a competition is huge. Logan Bruss this week, actually, McVay said he's going to be the backup right tackle to Rob Havenstein. Now, I will say one thing. In college, he definitely played way more games at tackle than he did at guard. But the news when we drafted him was this is the guy to be our guard position. But I think with us getting Steve Avila, that could have changed things. This offensive line is going to be good. We have a lot of depth because Noteboom or Jackson, Allen or Shelton, and Bruss. Those 3 guys, so I listed 5, but 3 will end up being backups. Whoever doesn't get the starting position at left tackle and center. That's something that we've never had. And with the injuries we had last year, this is awesome. I'm excited. Do I really need to list the right tackle, Rob Havenstein? We all know he had that on lock, so it's going to be a fun one. At wide receiver 2, no shock here, Van Jefferson. Now, I am hearing a lot of good things that a lot of personnel, coaches in the Rams organization are saying this is going to be Van Jefferson's biggest season. Our Super Bowl season, he did have 6 touchdowns, 800 yards with a healthy Matthew Stafford. He was also healthy that year. Now he's going to be his highest on the depth chart since he's came to LA. He's never been a number 2. He's always been a 3. And he was actually going to be a 4 when we traded for Odell Beckham Jr. And then the unfortunate news of Robert Woods getting injured pushed him back to 3. So Van Jefferson, I'm excited to see what he can bring. I do think Puka Nacua is going to get a lot of snaps as well. But I feel that it'll be more at the wide receiver 3 as of right now. And eventually he could be our second guy in targets. But Van Jefferson will be the deep guy, and I think he could get 1,000 yards this year for sure. Shocker to me here, wide receiver 3, Tutu Atwell. I'm hoping the guy can do it, but there's only so much hope you can have before you just lose it, right? Tutu Atwell's had moments. Last year, he had that bomb from Matthew Stafford in the New Orleans Saints game for a touchdown. He had some nice catches with Baker Mayfield, but really down the stretch, really slowed down. And I think his size is definitely a concern. You can't really utilize him in the middle of the field. He has to be a guy that you throw to more on the sideline so he could get out of bounds. If you do throw it to him in the middle, some quick slants in zone, some quick curl routes so he could get down quick. He's really small, 170 maybe now. Drafted at like 160, got up to 165. He's not a big guy. He has to be the burner for us. And a wide receiver 3 in this offense gets a lot of run. So I believe that Demarcus Robinson and Puka Nacua are going to get a lot of run. Lance McCutcheon possibly could get cut. Preseason's coming up, so you know how he does when it comes to that. Tyler Johnson, I don't know. It's tough. We got some depth at wide receiver. Definitely a big gap from Cup down, but depth is always a good thing. QB1, Matthew Stafford, no shock there. Shocker to me is at QB2, it still says Stenson Bennett or Brett Ripon. Bennett is definitely going to get the QB2 role. He's been getting first team reps whenever Matthew Stafford's getting rest days. Stop playing games with the man. Come on. Running back depth chart. This one shocked me. Not Cam Akers being 1, not Kyron Williams being 2, but Ronnie Rivers being 3. I really had high hopes for Zach Evans, and I haven't heard much out of camp with him on how he's looking. He might be a guy that takes a little long to develop, get used to the scheme. It is not the easiest scheme. All these other guys have at least 1 year experience. Ronnie Rivers and Kyron Williams last year. Cam Akers, this is year 4. So, I mean, we'll see. Zach Evans listed there right there with Royce Freeman. Doesn't really sit well with me. I'm not a big Ronnie Rivers guy. He's had some nice plays last year, but he's really small. I like the big 3-down back portfolio that Zach Evans brings, and I really hope that he could push to at least the 3. Kyron Williams could be our 3rd-down back with his pass catching ability, but we got the dog Cam Akers at 1, so let's get it. Defensive end, we have a battle brewing with Marquise Copeland and Ernest Brown. I am torn between these two. It's going to be a battle for sure. And this is one that I don't have a favorite for. I think both guys bring a lot. Maybe I lean towards Copeland a little bit, but Ernest Brown's an animal as well. Nose tackle, Kobe Turner or Bobby Brown. This should be an interesting battle until week 1 to see who really gets the start, although I do see a split coming, 50-50, 60-40, something like that between both guys. Kobe Turner's a rookie, so that definitely makes it harder to put him as a sure lock 70% of the snaps. But he's getting high praise from Aaron Donald. Excuse me. So that's always good. At defensive tackle, the GOAT, Aaron Donald. Outside linebacker, a.k.a. Edge, you have Michael Hoyt and Byron Young. So Byron Young's got it right now. That is who, if you've been watching Ramsoholic lately, that is who I've been rooting for to get it. I still think we need to bring in a veteran. But Byron Young, if you go by Madden, he's in the 90s of speed. The kid is a burner, so I'm excited to see what he can bring. I'd definitely like to see him develop better with the veteran there, veteran presence like Clowney. Although he gets injured, I'm not worried about that. I just like sometimes to have those veterans there to really teach these younger guys. And, Von Miller did it when he was with us, so it's good. Aaron Donald's got his hands tied. So, Byron Young. Inside linebacker, Ernest Jones. No shocker there. Should be one of the best linebackers in football this season, at least top 10. Christian Roseboom. We all knew he would be the starter as well. Definitely a position that isn't strong, but we've won a Super Bowl with worse. So I'm excited to see what Roseboom can bring in a starting role. Cornerback 1, Kobe Durant. No shock there. I think a lot of us in the Rams community are expecting a big season from him. I'm expecting a Pro Bowl season from him. Excited. Darion Kendrick, cornerback 2. I called it over a month ago. I said he would be the starter opposite Kobe Durant, and right now he's listed there. Robert Rochelle and Trey Tomlinson are listed as backups to both guys, and then Ahkello Witherspoon is listed as well as a starter, so not sure if he's going to be playing the nickel or the outside, but he's listed there. This is the veteran we signed from the Pittsburgh Steelers just a couple weeks ago. He's also a former San Francisco 49er, which is how a lot of us probably know him. Safety, Jordan Fuller and Russ Yeast. Definitely feel that Russ Yeast won't be starting come week 1, that John Johnson will be. Quentin Lake's also listed behind Jordan Fuller. He's been playing a lot of linebacker as well. I think him and Roseboom will definitely be swapping with each other depending on the packages we're bringing, the personnel we're facing on the opposing offense. There's going to be a lot of guys getting snaps and reps. We have a very young defense, probably one of the younger defenses in football. Outside of Aaron Donald, no one's over 30 years old. Ahkello Witherspoon might be 28, 29. And then John Johnson, if he ends up starting, is 27. I do think he will start. Russ Yeast is a cracker. Boy can really hit. I like having this safety lineup, but John Johnson and Jordan Fuller seems like the duo that the Rams are going to be going with. And that is the unofficial depth chart. Special teams, punter at Ethan Evans, kicker Tanner Brown, punt return Puku Nakua, and kick return Kyron Williams with Ronnie Rivers. If you'd like to support the team and become a part of the title tribe, make sure to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/toilets2titles. We really appreciate the support. We've been getting more Patreon members as of late, especially with the football season coming. A lot of people are going to want to get in for our waiver wire episodes. The Frankenstank League starts soon. People are dying for that 96-man league. Super fun. Definitely different. Involves trading cards, so definitely fun to check out. You're going to get betting advice. You're going to get roster analysis, 30-minute episodes breaking down your league's draft just for you. And you could reach out to all the team members. We'll get you on our Gilded chat. You could ask questions, during the season, whether you're in Dynasty now or redraft in a couple of weeks. You're going to have a lot of trades going around, and you're going to need some advice. You're not going to need advice from your buddies that in the league that may not have your best interest. Contact us, patreon.com, become a member. We really appreciate the support. And lastly, let's get into our preseason game this week. I know. It's preseason, but it is versus our tenant. The Los Angeles Chargers are traveling to the Los Angeles Rams. It's a far drive, right? All I know is they better have their rent. I'm not taking it easy on them. Now, this is going to be a big preseason game for us. We have a lot of open battles, as I just talked about on the depth chart. It's going to be exciting to see who really steps up. I'm definitely not going to miss a single snap. I'll be watching the whole game, and I can be honest with you and say that I don't remember the last time I've watched the whole preseason game. Typically at this point, our depth chart is locked up. I don't know that we'll be starting starters. Obviously, Donald, Cup, Stafford, guys like that won't be playing, but Stetson Bennett's going to start. I'm excited for that. You see them do well in training camp, but preseason gets you that extra step up. But there's always preseason darlings. Lance McCutcheon last year comes to mind, so much so that I smashed adding him in Dynasty leagues, and now he's on my taxi squad, so and possible training camp cut. So Los Angeles Chargers versus Los Angeles Rams. I'm not going to give score predictions or anything like that. You really don't know who's going to be out there for how many snaps. Herbert might go out there for one snap, throw one pass to Keenan Allen, take him out. Quentin Johnston on their team. It'll be exciting to see him play. I'm sure he'll get plenty of run. It is the first game of preseason, so you definitely see guys play more snaps that are going to be starting this week than you would in the third game, because that's right before the regular season starts. So that's when you see the practice squad guys getting out there. So, Ramily, as always, thank you for tuning in. Take care of each other. Take care of your loved ones. Always show love, no hate. Title Tribe, Ramily, I'm out.
It's 4 a.m. in New Bedford, I'm getting my shit together. City just ain't safe, these kids down for whatever. Letting the lead fly, they flocking just like a feather. I couldn't stay there forever, career not getting better. I ain't a rapper, can't imagine not getting cheddar. They posting pics in their base models, not even leather. It's not even leather. It's 4 a.m. White. Wait. The city.